A once sure MP Fadiel Adams has conceded that he was used in IDAC's Project Diversion, which was allegedly aimed at targeting high-ranking generals. Alleged cartel member Vusimuzi Matlala invokes his right against self-incrimination, and Lt-Colonel Deena Govender would allege that he was approached to throw KZN top cop Lt-Gen Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi under the bus over KZN killings. And he places Police Minister Senzo Mchunu at the center of these allegations. A very warm welcome to our SABC3 viewers. I'm Canny Maphanga, and let's continue to connect the dots.
I'm getting a call early evening or late afternoon to say they've intercepted your dockets. I asked, who's they? He said, I'm going to find out. General Mkhwanazi, instead of making allegations against me, should perhaps explain to this commission if he is in actual fact the conduit for Mr. Marimoto, a known criminal. There are in fact allegations that General Mkhwanazi has interfered in the arrest of Mr. Marimoto.
The subs and Medicaid contract is a matter in which I have been criminally charged and currently attending court, and as such I'm unable to comment on the question posed on the paragraph under reply, and the basis is that I do not wish to incriminate myself. I place on record that I do not have any relationship with Minister Senzo Mchunu. I have never met Minister Mchunu and have had no interactions with him, nor have I been at any gatherings where he was present.
He said even yesterday you took videos of me and posted on social media, and I'm like, yesterday I didn't take any video of you, and can you please show me that video you say I took yesterday? And then he's like, I don't have my phone with me now. But his tone was very threatening because he was even pointing fingers at me.
Let's begin here. The highly anticipated return of alleged cartel member Vusimuzi Matlala was dealt a bit of a blow. This as Matlala refused to entertain any questions that would result in self-incrimination.
The subs and Medicaid contract is a matter in which I have been criminally charged and currently attending court, and as such I'm unable to comment on the question posed on the paragraph under reply, and the basis is that I do not wish to incriminate myself.
Now, while he remained mum on certain subjects, Matlala did, however, offer vague denials on allegations that speak to Minister Mchunu. While he does not explain why he was giving alleged political fixer Brown Mkhwanazi money and favors, he does state that he does not know Mchunu.
I place on record that I do not have any relationship with Minister Senzo Mchunu. I have never met Minister Mchunu and have had no interactions with him, nor have I been at any gatherings where he was present. It suffices to say that I do not know Minister Mchunu.
This privilege invoked by Matlala led to his testimony only lasting 1 day for now. The commission would, however, fill the gap with WhatsApp chats of the late Jothan Mswazi Msibi and alleged runner Sergeant Fani Nkosi, which have revealed that Nkosi used his position at SABC to acquire high-level security technology. This happened under the guise, or false pretense rather, that the said technology, the grabber devices, were being demonstrated exclusively for the South African Police Services. But it had a different purpose.
Now, the kingdom to which Sergeant Nkosi is referring is the kingdom of Eswatini. And what will emerge is that Mr. Msibi, Sergeant Nkosi, and quite possibly Mr. Motsumi and Mr. Molefi, will get to them later, have a plan to sell grabber technology to the kingdom of Eswatini. Now, of course, that's not what the Czech Republic has been told at all. The Czech Republic has been told that this is a demonstration for the South African Police Service.
The commission would see the return of MP Fadiel Adams, whose Section 27 referral affidavit gave birth to Project Diversion. Adams defended his case first, but would later admit that he was used. Find out why after the break. Thank you for staying with us. Now, MP Fadiel Adams will return to the witness box by taking aim at KZN top cop Lt-Gen Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi by alleging that he enjoyed close proximity with someone that Adams described as a quote-unquote known criminal. Adams would also not spare IDAC State Advocate Drew Ramsamy by alleging that when he consulted with her, she told him that she could move on at least 2 matters and that the recording would prove this.
Advocate Ramsamy also states under oath that she advised me that I'm in possession of the documents, that me being in possession of the documents was a criminal offense. She has admitted that she recorded the entire conversation of my meeting with IDAC, and because I am confident in my truth, I implore this commission to request that recording and play it before the nation. Many things were said, including a claim from Advocate Ramsamy that she had to flee KZN because of an investigation into SABC and out of fear of Lieutenant General Khumalo.
Now, Adams would return the next day and abandon his suggestions surrounding the recording. His defensive posture also seemed to change once he was confronted with the conduct and evidence attached to Project Diversion, such as his rushed approach in laying cases in the Western Cape and Gauteng, as well as seeking the intervention of Police Minister Senzo Mchunu within 24 hours.
I want to hear from your perspective. What was so urgent that it had to happen within 24 hours?
If I may, Commissioner? Thank you. What was important to me about this is that on the basis of what I've seen, and these are only allegations, like I say, I wanted it followed up by an investigation, is that there's a possibility that at the very top of crime intelligence, people are A, stealing, B, promoting people with criminal records to top positions. And like you said, it just seemed to stink.
Now, the manner in which Adams approached this matter is important because it raises the question, was he laying a legitimate complaint or was he part of the alleged scheme to target high-ranking generals? This, as evidence showed how Dylan Paramal, the now suspended chief IDAC investigator, was able to secure additional statements from Adams.
This was commissioned at my house in Cape Town. However, it is different from the A1s that were signed in the office.
You mean the supplementary affidavits that were signed during the consultation?
During the consultation. As of now, Commissioners, I do not want to say anything that may jeopardize something that I have laid a criminal charge against.
With all of these facts before him and the turn of events before the Madlanga Commission, Adams was forced to confront the possibility that he was used in this entire saga or that he was part of the alleged orchestrated attack on high-ranking generals by IDAC. Meanwhile, Adams did not come to the commission alone. He was accompanied by Stuart Shaik, an alleged associate of Lieutenant General Shadrack Sibia, who would steal the spotlight for the wrong reasons.
And he said, even yesterday you took videos of me and posted on social media. And I'm like, yesterday I didn't take any video of you. And can you please show me that video you say I took yesterday? And then he's like, I don't have my phone with me now. And his tone was very threatening because he was even pointing fingers at me, telling me that if I want to talk like that, I must come outside.
Shaik would later get arrested outside the gates of the Madlanga Commission by a PKTT-led operation. The Commission's recommendations task team is, however, said to be investigating the intimidation case laid by the journalist Herman Malloy. Coming up after the break, Lt-Colonel Deena Govender took the stand, but he was not focused on the death of Bevan Loftus. He instead came to add more allegations against Police Minister Senzo Mchunu. Do stay with us. Thank you for staying with us. Now, Lt-Colonel Deena Govender, who is accused of being commissioned to kill Bevan Loftus under the guise of a legitimate operation, testified that these allegations were an attempt to, quote-unquote, use him as a pawn to discredit a KZN top cop, Lt-Gen Mkhwanazi. He would add layers to this by placing Police Minister Senzo Mchunu at the center of these alleged plans.
On Sunday, the 16th of August 2026, I received a telephone call from a known person. The importance of the call was to request me to implicate General Mkhwanazi in the shootings which John referred to. I have the recording of the phone call.
Now, Govender further alleged that a meeting took place with the caller on the 20th of August 2026, when Mkhwanazi was called, and Mkhwanazi, allegedly told Govender, who is implicated in allegations of police shootings in KZN, to tell the Commission that he gets his instructions from Lt-Gen Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi. To help us unpack this and what it means for Police Minister Senzo Mchunu, we are joined by political analyst Dr. Levi Ndo. Dr. Ndo, thank you so much for joining us on Connecting the Dots. It seems that these are quite serious allegations, but they also, at this time, Dr. Ndo, seem to be quite convenient, and raises the question of whether or not it's even plausible that the police minister would actually go to this extent, allegedly, during the height of the Madlanga Commission's probe.
Afternoon, Kenny. Afternoon to the viewers at home. Indeed, this information is coming at a very convenient moment. But also what appears to be the case is that there could be an element of anxiety, an element of uncertainty, and also an element of fear on the part of the suspended minister. Because with the developments at the commission, and every or most fingers pointing at him, it actually puts his position in a very uncomfortable situation. But what would be worrying would be a situation in which, whilst the commission is running, and when there are witnesses that are being called in, there appears to be backdoor strategies that are being utilized. And indeed, to talk to people who are going to appear at the commission to implicate certain people. And that talks to someone who wants to have a certain group of people siding with him or bringing in information that would also negatively affect the other people. And in this case, General Mkhwanazi. It will be quite unfortunate that if this kind of information is proven to be indeed correct, it will therefore talk to the political head who got into the position with other ulterior motives that do not work in the interest of the department, but also someone would not be very sure of the sensitivity of the portfolio that he occupies, because if things are not running well in the police, obviously the governance system gets negatively affected.
Dr. Ndo, there also seems to be a bit of a difficulty here. Govender seems to have a recording of the so-called political fixer that he says that he spoke to that is allegedly close to the minister, but he doesn't have a recording of the minister, or at least he hasn't shown one to the commission with respect to that call about that instruction relating to Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi. And that's the pattern that you see with allegations surrounding Police Minister Senzo Mchunu in this particular probe. There seems to always be a third party, but there never is evidence that is directly connected to Police Minister Senzo Mchunu. So although while there are calls for action to be taken now, it's always far removed, and it's a difficult pattern to reconcile in terms of the kind of conclusion that the probe must make, and also the decision that we await the president to make with respect to the police minister.
It's unfortunate that these are issues that are coming through the third person. And there could be reasons why such are coming from the third person. It could be someone who is very closely linked to Minister Mchunu, who wants Minister Mchunu to get off the hook so that he doesn't find himself in trouble. It could be someone who would be claiming to be very close to Minister Mchunu, whilst in actual fact, that person is not close to Minister Mchunu. So we would not know exactly what could be the reason of having the third person coming in. But Minister Mchunu also has to be very, very careful that he could not talk directly to the witnesses. So you would not know exactly what is the case. But the fact of the matter is that with the commission running, they should be able to find exactly the relationship between this third person and Minister Mchunu, and indeed what could have been the reason for all these things happening. Of course, you'll have a lot of people putting a lot of pressure on the president to act, and the reason that the president is going to highlight will be that I have appointed the commission. I want the commission to complete its work, and beyond the focus on Mchunu, there are a lot of other important information coming out of the commission, and it will be in the best interest of South Africans to allow the commission to finish its course so that all the people that are still supposed to appear at the commission will have to come and provide their own evidence.
Lastly, Dr. Ndo, speaking on the evidence that is far removed, we've also seen Cat Matlala also come and distance himself from the Police Minister, Senzo Mchunu, but we have heard enough concerning evidence emanating out of IDAC that shows that there is evidence to look at in terms of Police Minister Senzo Mchunu, because it does seem that after that meeting, alleged meeting at the residence of Police Minister Senzo Mchunu, that former IDAC head Advocate Johnson seemingly intensified Project Diversion, which is also the project that is alleged to be targeting high-ranking generals, and also sees evidence where it is alleged that Mkhwanazi actually gave the incomplete IGI report to the IDAC investigators in a manner that fell outside of the protocol. And the inference there is that it was to assist them in the investigations, rather allegedly. So with that evidence already quite concerning, how could he possibly be considered to stay in such a post with evidence of this nature? And you're already seeing all the heads rolling at IDAC in terms of Project Diversion.
There would be nothing wrong for the minister to interact with the different structures under his portfolio. That is what the minister has to do in order to gather information, in order to be able to be abreast with what is happening in the different units of the department. Obviously, that has to be done having followed specific or certain protocols that are supposed to be followed. There would be a lot that is wrong when you have the minister who would therefore want to utilize some of the institutions within the police service in order to trap or to put other people in a difficult situation, and specifically having to put them under the bus. The minister is supposed to be someone who has to provide the strategic position at the department, and also have to ensure that he or she has to unify the staff so that they actually work in the best interest of all South Africans. And of course, when you have got a situation where instead of being the unifier, and then the minister is the one who is implicated in dividing the department, that could be something very, very serious that I think even though the minister might not have seen it as a problem, is something that he still had to reflect on that very, very seriously. But what also talks to this situation would be whether our politicians are able to capture and understand the basics once they're given these responsibilities, what they're supposed to do, what they're not supposed to do,
right.
What are the protocols in terms of interacting with senior government officials, because that for me talks to the simple basics that appears not to have been followed in this regard.
All right, thank you very much. That was political analyst Dr. Levi Ndoyo joining us to reflect on the allegations that continue to mount against Police Minister Senzo Mchunu as the probe is now advancing on the issue of allegations of extrajudicial killings in the KZN province. All right, it's time to hear your thoughts on the latest allegations to hit the probe.
What was the rush about that when the matter is not yet been allocated to an investigator for that matter? For somehow, I don't know, the rationale behind his rashness of requesting the intervention of the minister. So, but in a sense, I can feel that no, there's untruthfulness.
No, Fadiel Adams is not telling the truth. The section 27 that we were given by Advocate Ramsamy is completely different from the one that Mr. Adams has, which I think he got it from Advocate Johnson. So just those sections of 27 affidavits makes me to conclude that he is not telling the truth.
And that brings us to the end of this week's wrap. It's time to say goodbye to our SABC3 viewers and gear up for this leg of hearings where alleged cartel member Vusimuzi Matlala will return to the stand at 9:30 a.m. Will he hold on to his right against self-incrimination, or will he spill the beans? Find out next week Sunday at 4 p.m. as we continue to connect the dots.